All right, hello and welcome back to the Curse of Blackmoor Manor. As I said, we're going to step forward and for the first time set foot in the forge of the Penvellyns. We step forward here, take a
This
look.
looks like some kind of medieval forge.
It does indeed. Up above we see the symbol of the dragon. Some tools that we don't really have to interact with. And down here we have...
Looks like a chunk of metal.
And here...
This looks like some kind of ancient mold.
We have a mold
By
that we
pulling
can...
out different plugs, I can create different patterns in the mold.
Correct. So we can sort of build a key with this mold, although we have no idea how to do it, nor do we know how to actually turn the forge on. So let's do quite a bit, honestly, of reading here. Take a look at this statue guy.
You're one big drink of water, aren't you?
Can't manipulate it directly, but that's okay. So we're going to do some reading here, and in several of these books and notes here, we're going to find a lot of information about the Penvellyns, the Forge, and their history. Let's start with this piece here. So, can't see a lot, but something glorious laboratory which my ancestor Albert Penvellyn created. I even found some of his notations and have performed many of his experiments, although so far something. All right. Not a lot there, but lower on this part of the desk have some more notes. Something. Lydia, Blackmoor Manor has remained largely intact all these years. Would that I could lay claim to my birthright and live here openly. But Lydia tells me that my grandmother's name still stirs fear and hatred in the hearts of nearby villagers, and counsels discretion. Perhaps Philippi. So maybe we could look into Lydia and Philippi if we need to. How about this note over here?
My dear initiate.
Congratulations for progressing this far. Your goal may not be in sight, but it is very, very close. I leave this for you because the Athenor can be daunting and not a little discouraging. Just bear in mind that to use it, you must first light it, and to light it, you must give it 4 things: earth in liquid form, air, water, and fire. Should you require more information, consult the Mutus Liber, something even my grandfather Corbin apparently did with some frequency. Very interesting.
Penelope Penvellyn.
I regret that we shall never meet, but you will get a glimpse into my life when you encounter my contribution to the security of our treasure. Likewise, were I somehow able to project myself into the future, I would learn something about you were I to come across the obstacle which you will have created. Blackmoor Manor is indeed the sum of the hearts and minds of all who have dwelt here. Welcome, Penelope Penvellyn. Let's read this book in back first. Okay, so here we have a map of the 2 secret tunnels. This is the peephole into Lydia's room, and this marches down. This, of course, goes the other direction. So, a lot to learn here. And we're going to come back to this in future videos. So, welcome, dear initiate, pride of the Penvellyn heritage. Here you will face many trials, but persevere, for your reward shall be the knowledge of those who have passed before you and the honor of those to come. You have demonstrated your worthiness by negotiating the moving rooms and mastering the alchemy test which our father, Albert, created to protect his laboratory. Now you will help protect our heritage by creating yet another test for new initiates to pass. For my part, I have set this tradition in motion with the establishment of the rules of Penvellyn inheritance, and have enlisted the Bossany family to oversee our efforts and discoveries. There are 6 columns in the Great Hall, each hiding a brave knight who will direct the movements of the oil of enlightenment to this forge, in which a key shall be created to reveal the secret of our father Randolph. This oil of enlightenment is the liquid form of earth needed to light the forge. The secret must be well guarded. Hide the final solution to unlock this secret in your coat of arms and in the silent book, which is the Mutus Libre. Let my words woven in cloth be the guide to finding the first key to open the column decorated with Jupiter's mighty bolt. So, I'm just going to read it and we're going to talk about them later. Lacking my grandfather's wit and wisdom, I can only add to his genius. His tiles are now locked. The key is to be found near a staircase that sings, but the forge cannot work without being tempered by water. If the well is empty, a devious lock hidden in the passages beneath the manor will return it to its watery state. Dear friends, dear Penvellyns, I fear my time is soon ended. My efforts to protect those in need will soon seal my doom. I have constructed a column to represent Mercury, on whose swift wings that I could escape these trying times. By moving the hands that protect my home with their alluring charms, my father's work will release this wand. This is Eleanor, who perished in 1650. So we actually already learned exactly how we need to move the hands to get Mercury's wand from Nigel's notes. My return to our ancestral home is welcomed with neither gladness nor the embrace of family, but no force of a misguided man can destroy our tradition. I have endeavored to make our secrets even more firm, to bring fire to the forge, tame the master guardian gargoyle and his two companions with Mercury's wand. But be of fleet foot, time is of the essence. Once you have completed this task, apply the wand to the depository for the forge's fuel. There, oil and fire will mix. What a curiosity, what a fortune, what a dream, to know that these strange riddles and puzzles have endured for so many generations. What an honor to contribute, and how busy I have been to bring the joy of discovery to you, my children's children. My playful companion hides the loving point of Venus's arrow. With this point, you will assist in the ordering of the knights who block the passage of oil to the forge. My playful companion. And how can a forge work without the sweet essence of air to fan its flames? Seek the curious puzzle in this room to help poor Aeolus capture those unruly winds. How I wish I could have met you. Penny, 1775, or Lenny rather, I think. This is the individual who had the automaton that is in the main room built, which we will come back to later. So many years have passed since I first stepped into this strange universe. Using my coat of arms and star charts, you will soon discover how to open my moon box and find the special lens hidden within. Use this lens in my telescope to see 5 special muses. Select each one in the correct order, and Betty will wager grandmother's key. Maybe it was Penny. With the very same lens, find the secret panel hidden in my room. There you will discover a most intricate puzzle that hides the key to the column of moons. December 21st, Bridget, okay. After discovering countless wonders around the world, what joy it is to discover such mysteries at home. My dear grandchild, John, on this day, your first birthday, I complete my destiny. A dragon now watches over the manor, and a column is dedicated to Saturn, the god of time. With time, you will discover the passage that hides its key behind a target. Aim well and throw with force, and the key shall be yours. How sad that only a few will revel in this secret. It is I who completes the key to guard the last column? So be it. Help my dear amphibious friend cross the conservatory's pond, and the Mars key shall be yours. John Charles Harold Penvellyn. My computer will help you find the Saturn key. Be not afraid. I share sentiments of our dear distant grandmother Penny. I, too, wish to have known you, my children. Be strong and just in all that you do. Alan. P.S. A great shortcut through Father Albert's moving room is to open and close the Mars door 2 times without advancing through to the next room, then turn around and voila, you're home. So that's the shortcut that we actually used last time. But nice of him to tell us if we hadn't figured out on our own. Is this book also readable? Aeolus, Master of the Winds. I don't think we really need to read this, but yeah, basically, this is Greek mythology. Ancients believed that Aeolus was the keeper of the four winds, Zephyrus the west wind, Boreas the north wind, Favonius the south wind, and Eurus the east wind. Aeolus held them all captive, releasing them as gales or breezes only when the deities so ordered. His was a somber responsibility for wind. The rush of air was vital for producing and maintaining fire, and with fire, all manner of weapons and tools could be forged. That's a relatively heavy-handed hint that we need the air to use our forge, but sometimes the winds would escape and Aeolus would have to capture them all over again. This was not easy, not even for someone as powerful as he, for the winds veered about capriciously and blew fiercely. Should one of the winds find Aeolus in his path, he would attempt to blow him into one of the bottomless pits that pocked the world back then. But Aeolus persevered, sometimes taking one giant step, sometimes 5. I can't tell what that says. Sometimes 2. I guess it's 2. And one by one, he would catch the four winds and tuck them away until they were needed. Sometimes, to keep him busy, the deities would summon him to lift something that they could not, and he never failed them. Sometimes they would summon Aeolus to lift something they could not. No wind was too strong, no weight too heavy for the mighty Aeolus. Okay, let's go through the rest of the room. So some weapons forged over here, nothing of particular interest to us, other than the fact that they're just cool in general. We looked at the forge already, but now we can pop over here. We see this sword here, a book, and again, let's start with the note. Surely this is one of the most ingenious machines ever created, saving, no doubt, the life of many an innocent man. The fact that it played a part in my grandmother's condemnation and execution is as cruel an irony as, I don't know. Heavenward controls whether Mercury shall move. Okay, so apparently there are these hands that control Mercury's movements. The left side, door chimes for secret doors and control for Mercury. Okay. And, all right, so his eyes have to look heavenward, and the statue has to be rotated to the north. If we press this center button, that will control whether or not Mercury will actually move. And these doors chime for secret doors and can unlock the key controlling Mercury. Okay, cool. How about this book? The Journal of Charles Penvellyn. I still cannot believe that Garrett is gone. The tragedy has caused his mother to shun all light, seeking solace in silence and shadow, but finding it not. His sister, having shared the bright day of his birth, cannot but constantly relive the gray day of his passing. And I, his father, find my thoughts going to him like May flies to the hearth. What was, what could have been, what is to become of the Penvellyns? Can't quite make out the rest of this. Probably could if you really tried, but I don't want to. Seems like we're not supposed to read it. Blah, blah, blah. Questions of who will inherit the throne of England personally relevant, for I, like Henry, lack a male heir, and there is much at stake. But, unlike the king, tradition is at my mercy, not I at its. Nor am I bound by the notion that power can be passed from men to men only. In my years on the bench, I have seen far too many dull husbands and far too many, probably, intelligent wives. Blah, 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 be solved by contracting the services of one family. The members of this family will be charged with persevering over traditions and teaching them to the firstborn child of the appropriate generation under strict secrecy. It is conceivable that through the centuries they will know more about our family than we do Penvellyns. But by this means, and by this means alone, will it be possible to ensure that our treasure is never, probably put in the wrong hands, I guess. Another note here in the back. Do hereby decree that an initiate may be male or female, and that the education of said initiate is to begin no sooner than the 12th, probably birthday. All right, so clarity that the Penvellyn heir does not have to be male, just firstborn. Another note. Someone has begun to take note of my clandestine activities, reporting to the constable that they have heard strange noises and seen strange lights when passing the manor at night. I am loath to curtail my experiments, for working in such close proximity to the treasure is a boon to my spirits, but I fear that probably I'll get killed. Alright, anything else to click on over there? Nothing there. So let's back up and continue to rotate through the room. Here we have what is actually a keyhole. This ultimately is where the key we must forge needs to be placed, but that will take some time. So finally we can come over here and look at this kind of puzzle game that we have here, which is the device that was spoken of earlier with Aeolus and the 4 winds. So we have to try to move Aeolus and capture these 4 winds. I believe we have to start by pressing this blue button.
Whoa, sounds like the big guy out there just took a step.
And which air is stronger is kind of variable, I believe. I'm not sure. But either way, if we are facing one of the winds, we will be blown all the way to one direction or the other. We can take 1 step or 2, as the book told us there.
Looks like some winds are stronger than others.
And the winds will actually blow each other as well while they move around. So now that they're down there, they can blow us. We'll step here. Hopefully have enough time to take some steps here and capture a wind or 2. Nope. Alright. So if we take a step, I think he'll blow us back, but... oh, good. Alright, so we have some time. Let's take these steps here. And see if we can't capture the north wind. If we take 1 step down, I think we'll have a chance that he'll step onto where we are. Excellent. Alright, so we captured the north wind. Now, let's try to capture the west wind. I think this will be the easiest way to do it. Hopefully this guy will move on the next turn. Guess not. Maybe here. And let's try once more. I want to try to get here. Hopefully this guy will move. Good. And just 1 more step. And there's a chance we'll catch the east wind. Can we stay still? Is that an option? I don't think we can step on these spaces. I think that goes poorly for us. Let's just take... oh, I should have taken 1 step backwards. Oh, that's alright. Worked out well for us. He didn't move. Good. No! Alright, we gotta start over. Alright, let me pause here. I'll try to get back to where we were. Alright, so slightly different configuration than what we had before, but we're up to 2 of the winds. Okay. I need to be much more careful about stepping into places where I can be blown into these pits. Let's do this. And then take 2 steps here. Hopefully this guy will move. Alright. Let's take 2 steps here. Good. And now we can capture this guy, and hopefully the south wind does not move here. Alright, let's just take 1 step. Because if we get blown back, at least we won't lose. Good. Now hopefully we'll get a chance to get all the way down there. If he stays still on this turn, we should be okay. Alright. Now let's see how long this takes. We'll just be persistent. Fingers crossed. Alright, so we'll take 1 step down and basically just wait for the south wind to come to us. Which she will sooner or later. Beautiful.
It sounds like air is going to the forge.
Look at that. Alright. So we have now successfully restored air to the forge, which visibly doesn't change anything, but that's okay. Alright, so let's do 1 more thing, and then we'll actually just end things a little bit early. And that 1 thing is to... oh wait, is there anything? No. That one thing is to find one more area here. Oh, actually, I wanted to make some phone calls. Let's try calling a few different people. Let's call Mrs. Petrov. No. Not even sure what time it is.
Hello? Hello, Mrs. Petrov. It's Nancy Drew.
What's happened? How's Linda?
She's fine. I mean, she's no worse, at least as far as I can tell.
That's good news, I suppose. What can I do for you?
Let's get some more information on the case.
Did Linda say anything to you about finding a secret passageway?
No. Linda told you she found a secret passageway?
Yes. Do you think she wasn't telling the truth?
I don't know. Given her fragile state of mind, what's true and what she thinks is true may well be two different things, that's all.
The good news is I found a secret passageway too.
So Linda wasn't imagining things. That's encouraging.
The bad news is I didn't see what Linda says she saw inside it.
Oh, and we're back to square one.
Well, except we did later, but that's fine.
When you were here visiting Linda, did you ever see or hear anything odd?
Yes, Mrs. Drake. Why do you ask?
What's wrong with Mrs. Drake?
Blackmoor Manor looks like the kind of place that most people would assume is haunted, don't you think?
Frankly, I was too worried about Linda to take notice of much of anything there. Except that most of the rooms I saw looked like they'd been decorated by a medieval monk.
How about Nigel?
Did you meet Nigel Mukherjee when you were here?
Not really. Mrs. Drake told me who he was, but whenever I passed the library, he was always on his cell phone, talking as if he didn't want anyone to hear. You know, furtively.
Could you hear what he was saying?
Not a word. He was taking great pains to make sure he was not overheard. Say, you don't suppose he has something to do with what's been happening to Linda, do you?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still, gathering facts.
I'd forgotten all about him until just now. He was up to something. I don't know what, but he was up to something.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Petrov.
Take care.
Okay, let's try home. Sure, let's go home. Sounds fun.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
It's Nancy. Just calling to say hi. You don't need to call me back. Bye.
That was fun. How about Ned? Let's call boring Ned. Never done this before. I have no idea what he has to say.
Hello?
Hi, Ned.
Hey, Nancy.
Just want to know I got here safely. I've been here for several days.
Just wanted to let you know I got here safely.
So how's Blackmoor Manor?
A little on the spooky side.
How's Mrs. Petrov's daughter?
A little on the spooky side.
Which means?
It's just very strange. She stays in bed hiding behind this curtain all day.
Do you have any idea what the deal is?
She thinks she's been cursed.
Cursed? What do you mean?
She saw this ancient curse in a secret passageway, and now she thinks it's coming true.
Yikes, that's kind of nuts.
Sure, let's go with this. Let's believe.
Frankly, as creepy as this place is, I'm beginning to wonder.
So what'd the curse say?
She refused to tell me.
Sounds to me like you'd better give finding that out your top priority.
Let's go with creepy picture book.
Linda's stepdaughter, Jane, she has this really weird picture book in her room.
What do you mean, a picture book?
I mean, pictures are all that's in this book. No words, just these strange hand-drawn images. And the book is old, like it's been around for centuries.
Drawings, huh? Maybe it's some kind of an ancient instruction manual. You know, for people who didn't know how to read.
Could be. When I asked her about it, Jane said her grandfather gave it to her. And then
what?
And then she changed the subject.
Sounds like that book may prove to be pretty important.
And how about this?
I think Linda may be turning into the Beast of Blackmoor.
The Beast of Blackmoor?
In the 17th century, Eleanor Penvellyn was rumored to have turned her husband into some kind of creature for discovering something that he shouldn't have. She was later executed for witchcraft. Anyway, While I was looking into her room through this peephole,
You were spying on her through a peephole?
No, well, sort of. Okay, so maybe I was. But the point is, I got a glimpse of her hand, and it was all hairy.
You're kidding me.
Frankly, it was pretty shocking. And if the rest of her is anything like her hand, well, it's no wonder she won't let anyone see her.
I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation. I have no idea what it could be, but I'm sure there is one.
Fair enough.
I'll talk to you soon.
I'll be waiting.
All right, and let's do our final talk with this, who I believe is the author of that book.
This is Paliki.
Hi, my name is Nancy Drew. Could I ask you some questions about lycanthropy?
I'm sorry, I'm about to leave for a seminar and I'm very busy. Besides, I've written 2 books and 12 articles on the subject. If you have questions, perhaps you should try reading one of them.
I like this.
I did. That's how I got your number.
Well, if you didn't understand something, I'm afraid I really don't have time to explain it to you.
I understood everything. It's just that I know someone who seems to be exhibiting some of the symptoms of lycanthropic
Lycanthropic metamorphosis? Well, that's different. Talk to me.
All right, let's go with this guy.
What do you consider to be the definitive signs that someone is turning into some kind of animal?
Symptoms are relatively subtle. A dry mouth, fatigue, impaired vision, and reduced blood flow to the skin. Is this person pale?
Let's say yes.
Yes, but the really disturbing thing is she won't let anyone see her. She just lies in bed all day behind this curtain.
And at night, what does she do at night?
I can't be sure, but I do know that I saw something outside the night I arrived, some kind of animal. And when I asked to see my friend, I was told she was unavailable.
This sounds very promising.
You don't really believe she's turning into some kind of creature, do you?
Young lady, I believe the human mind is capable of far more than we can ever imagine. Pale skin, dry mouth, fatigue. The human mind is perfectly capable of causing the body to exhibit such symptoms, if it is so motivated.
And what would motivate someone to turn into an animal?
What would motivate someone to turn into an animal?
Most lycanthropes are under a great deal of stress, due perhaps to the death of a loved one, marriage, divorce, relocation, that sort of thing. They're emotionally vulnerable, which means they're particularly open to the power of suggestion.
Someone suggests they become a
Someone
lycanthrope?
suggests they become a lycanthrope?
Not in so many words, of course. Somehow they get it in their head that they're destined to take another form. They see something, they read something, someone says something to them. Somehow they come to believe they're supposed to undergo a physical metamorphosis, and so, in their weakened psychological state, they do.
Do you think seeing an ancient curse would be enough to send someone, over the lycanthropic edge?
Absolutely. Of course, a person cannot morph into XYZ if that person has no idea what XYZ is. She has to have some prior knowledge of the creature she thinks she has been condemned to become. A book, a website, a movie, a play, a casual anecdote, any number of things could provide her subconscious brain with clues as to how she is to look, feel, and behave in her altered form.
Are temper tantrums symptomatic of lycanthropy?
There are no hard and fast rules when it comes to lycanthropy, or almost anything else for that matter. But if someone believes that what they're changing into is irrational, or has a bad temper, then they will exhibit irrational, ill-tempered behavior, especially if this is contrary to their former nature.
What if someone seems to be growing a lot of hair, like on her hands?
What do you mean by a lot?
I mean a lot.
Well, to tell you the truth, psychosomatic hair growth is extremely unusual. In fact, as far as I know, it's unheard of.
Are you saying that my friend really is turning into some kind of beast?
No, of course not. But you might be well advised to keep an eye on her. And please, call me if anything happens.
If anything like what happens?
You'll know, Miss Drew. You'll know.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Well, it was an interesting little discussion. Okay, let's end things here. I'll just kind of get to the other side of the laboratory. But yeah, we will end things here, and when we return, we will continue to dive deeper into the mystery of Blackmoor Manor and the Penvellyn household. But until then, see ya.